welcome to another beautiful day. We're just gonna go for a loop in New Forest. So I'm gonna take you with me. Oh, look at that guy working out. Get it, mate, get it. So yeah, I'm gonna take you guys to the New Forest. It's one of the national park here in the southwest. It's pretty big and it has some nice roads in there as well. And today I just want to share with you my, how would you say it, my humble beginnings. You know, how I learned how to ride a motorbike, what type of bike I rode before. I'm gonna try my best to remember everything. I don't know how old I am back then. The only thing I can remember is I was in grade 4. So I think it's like 10 years old, 11 years old, around that years, around that age. So growing up, I spent a lot of time on a bicycle. I had a BMX back then, so my balance is pretty good. I kind of know how to do basic tricks, but most of the time I was just riding with my friends. So during those time, my dad has 2 bikes. So one is a Honda XRM 110cc. So this is the one I used, and this is the one where I learned how to ride. The other motorbike is a Kawasaki KMX. I can't remember if it's KLX or KLM. Anyway, one of those two, but they are pretty similar. It's like an enduro bike. So back when I was in grade 4, our house back then, we have a garage, and it is pretty spacious. You can fit few cars in there, so it is enough space for a motorbike to make a loop, like a small loop, and just to go back and forth. One day, me and my brother, we always play around with the cars, and for some reason my dad always leave the key in the ignition. I don't know why, but yeah, so that's kind of like gave us some opportunity to explore cars and motorbikes. So with a motorbike, with this Honda XRM, it just all started with just turning the ignition on, turning on the engine. Just started with the revving the engine. It's alright, boy. So yeah, because back then that bike was a electric start, so you know, it's so easy for us to just start the engine and then just rev it, and it sounds good because it echoes in the garage. You know, even though it's not that loud, but still, you know what I mean. It's the sound of the motorbike. We're just revving the motorbike, and then one day we just decided to play with the gears only when the ignition is on. So we just kind of play with the 1, 2, 3, move forward, move backwards. Then by this time, because we observe a lot of people, all the adults who ride a motorbike, how the gears work. So when you go to first gear, and when you twist the throttle, you move forward. So we are aware by that time that once you go to the first gear, you don't twist the throttle hard, or else you're gonna fly off the wall like that. The day we played with the gears, so the first thing we did, is we just went to first gear and gently twist the throttle. We kind of slowly moved forward, and this bike was pretty low, so I can easily reach the ground comfortably. Then once I went forward, I asked my brother to push me back, and then I'll do the same thing again. Then we take turns to go back and forth. Then later on, we just decided to go around our garage. Like I said, it has plenty of space for us to make a loop. Basically became our training ground. But But at that time, we're so scared to go to the second gear for some reason. You know, we just focus on riding, exploring the throttle, how it responds to the bike. But like I said, we only stick to the first gear, so it doesn't really make sense before. And then one day, me and my brother, we're just so stupid back then. We're just so dumb. We decided to take it to another level. So we decided, let's take it outside. Let's take it outside. You know, we only do these things when our parents is not around. If it's just only two of us. So one day, parents were not around, and then it's like observing the neighbors, the house next door. Because our neighbors have a good relationship with their parents, and so they always tell whatever things we do if it's not good. So our plan from before was to push the bike to the next block and start it there and then ride it, so that our neighbors couldn't hear it. So funny. So we pushed to the next block and started there and start riding. Then again, we take turns. Sometimes mostly just me riding around the village. Back then it was not so crowded. There's only a few houses and there were not a lot of people. And then the cool thing about it, it feels good when your friends see you on your motorbike. You know, you feel so cool. It feels so good riding your motorbike. Some of my friends back then already know how to ride a motorbike, even with the clutch. So those kids are laughing at us because we are not using the gears properly. And then I remember a friend, Jerome. He's the one who taught me how to use the gears properly. So yeah, he came by to the house. We went for a ride. He was at the back. He was my pillion. He was saying, so once you let go of the throttle, then you go to the second gear. This bike, Honda XRM, is a semi-automatic, so it's no clutch, it's just gears and throttle, that's it. It's pretty straightforward, but for some reason back then I'm so scared to go to the second gear and third gear. But you know, my friend Jerome kinda taught me how to use the gears properly, and then from the very same day it kinda makes sense how the gears work. And then after that, that's it. I learned how to go fast on the motorbike. Then fast forward, how I learned to ride motorbike with a clutch is with a tricycle. If you don't know what tricycle is basically a motorbike with a sidecar attached with the motorbike. So back in the Philippines, tricycle is a sort of part of our public transportation. And a friend of mine, same guy who told me how to figure out the gears, so they have the tricycle. Sometimes when they come to hang out in the house, he bring the tricycle, then he kinda let me ride the tricycle. And the thing about tricycle is you don't need to worry about the balance. You just need to focus on the mechanism, all the controls, especially the clutch. I was struggling with the clutch before. I always stalled, the bike died on me. I can't remember how many times, but it's part of the lesson, it's part of the training. I think that is the best way to learn how to ride a motorbike, with the tricycle. Like I said, you don't need to worry about the balance, just focus on the controls. Okay, we are in the New Forest now. As you can see, there's a lot of wild horses. Okay, where are we? Yes, of course, this is back in the Philippines where tricycle is everywhere. And then after learning from the clutch, still spend a lot of time with the Honda. Then fast forward to high school, this is what I met a lot of people modifying their bike, a lot of people doing drag racing. That's the stage where I learned how to modify my bike. I didn't go full on crazy, just basic modification. And then of course in the Philippines or any country in Asia, you see multiple people on a motorbike. And I've been to that stage before. Back then it's just the normal, but if you think about it now, it's just insane how terrible it was. And then when my dad decided to come to the UK, he decided to sell the bikes for a good reason though. But before I was like, I don't get it, why are you selling it? We sold it for our safety. Back then we had a lot of accident, especially me. I had a lot of accident in the bike, but not major accident, just minor. But still, it could be worse if my dad left that bike with me. He did a really good decision. Back then I was so sad, you know, my parents not around, and then seeing someone riding the motorbike you grew up with, it's just sad. I was really upset. But during the high school days, I'm so privileged to have friends who let me and who trust me to use their motorbike, and I really appreciate it. And even today I would do the same. And it's more fun if you're sharing something to your friends or to other people. So yeah, my friends who own motorbikes play a big part during my high school days when my dad sold all the bikes. And I remember one day during high school days, after our exam finished early, and then we decided to go for a ride. There's at least 10 motorbikes, and each motorbike has a pillion. It was so good. And then we went to this national park in Quezon province. called a zigzag. It was a beautiful road, so fun, just alternate. Like I said, I don't have a motorbike back then. You know, that was like my first group ride, like with big number. Okay guys, have you seen this road? This road is one of my favorite roads here in the New Forest. Look at it, look at it. Back then, I just remember riding a motorbike is pretty loose. It's not really strict back in the Philippines. I ride a lot of times without a helmet. When I was young, I don't really care about safety and all the trainings, all the gears. All I want to do is just to ride my motorbike. Fast forward to I was 17, my parents decided to take us to the UK. So we flew to the UK when I was 17. Coming here to the UK has a big impact to me. I need to adjust a lot, and motorbike is not really my priority back then. Then jump into last year, decided to work on my motorbike license. I was so happy just to pass it all in one go. I remember during my training, everything just came in so naturally. It was so easy. I find it so easy, and I think it's because of my past, because of my childhood, all that experience. And I'm not trying to like brag about it, because it's all down to all experience I had before, and especially to those friends who let me borrow their bikes during those times that I don't own one. I passed everything in one go. I was so happy, I was so glad, and I couldn't believe it. A few weeks later on, I just decided to buy a new bike, and here we are right now, enjoying New Forest on a motorbike here in the UK. It's crazy if you think about it. I don't know how many of you can relate, but that was my story. That was my humble beginning. To ride a motorbike is not easy, so training is really important, and that's why I decided to kind of do more training. You know, I don't want to just stop here. I still want to keep going, expanding my knowledge on a motorbike. So hopefully when this lockdown is finished, planning to look some training regarding motorbike, and you know, my plan was to share it with you guys, share it to everyone so everyone can learn. So that's my summary, how I learned to ride a motorbike. So it's just basically me and my brother messing about. Look at that, look at this road, such a beautiful day as well. Oh, look at these twisties. Oh yeah. So yeah, that was my story. I know I miss a lot, but that's the only, like, the highlight of how I learned to ride a motorbike. Oh, look at this road, so nice. So yeah, I think that's it. I'm just gonna end it here. I'm just gonna enjoy the road. Ooh, look at that bend. So yeah, thank you for joining me again today to this beautiful weather. Thank you again for listening, and yeah, that's it. I'm out.